We're going to be doing incline push-ups and incline side planks. So the best place you can do this is your kitchen countertop or the back of your couch. Now for the purpose of this, I'm going to be using 2 stools so that I can get a little bit of extra depth. But we want to stay in a nice plank position versus extending and letting our low back fall towards the ground, right? This is where we're going to benefit in our core, as well as keeping a nice plank position, which will transition perfectly to push-ups on the ground. 10 minutes on the clock. Once that starts, we're getting straight to work, getting as many counts in as we can, right? You can keep pace with me, you can go a bit faster, or you can go slower. As long as you're moving, I'm happy. All right, here we go. 1, 2. So notice, my chest is going towards my hands. My elbows aren't flaring out to the side as I do this. My elbows are kind of going back towards my rib cage in a little bit of a capital A or arrow position. All right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Nicely done, okay? Now we're gonna go to our incline side plank. This is it. Nice and easy. If this is uncomfortable for your elbow, you can go here, right? The goal is that you are supporting through your obliques and you are giving yourself the opportunity to train your core. The goal is not to pick the hardest position on day 1. As you progress through this program, you'll have plenty of time to make this harder. You wouldn't believe it? Feel this. Excuse the fire engine. Good, rest. We're gonna go ahead and switch sides. Right? Nice and simple. Here we are. Stack our feet, foot over foot. Try to keep this a nice straight line from armpit to heel. Right? We're hanging out. I know this seems super basic, but even somebody who's been working out for 10 years can benefit from these exercises because chances are they're not doing them. This is the coolest thing about exercise is you always have opportunities to grow. You always have opportunities to challenge yourself. Another 15 seconds. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. All right, so we're right back in on our push-ups. Remember, if you're doing 8 reps instead of 12, take the remainder of the time to rest as much as you need before the next set. You will continue to improve, I promise. And I'm gonna try to edit out those wind chimes. I apologize. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Nice job. If you're ready to progress to your elbow, we're gonna go down a little bit lower. We're gonna hit that nice stack. Right? If you're still at your hand, totally fine. The goal is challenging yourself regularly, but not pushing to the point of pain. There's no benefit to pushing through pain. If you get through 1 set throughout this entire workout on week 1, doing a second set is a massive amount of progress in week 2. Doing a 2.5 set is progress in week 3. It still works. All right, rest and on to the next side. You don't have to measure your progress by anything other than your own hard work. Nobody else has experienced the journey that you've experienced. 30 seconds holding this wonderful cycle. There's another siren. And everyone's going by. "15 seconds. Shout out to Joe Hageman for the wonderful tank tops. 2, 1, rest. Whew, we are sweating. There's only 5 minutes and 44 seconds to go. This is awesome. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Remember, descend slowly. Try to remain under control. If you need to rest at the top, not at the bottom. 9, if you got a little extra depth, you can go for it. You'll get a bigger stretch in your chest and still continue to benefit from what seemingly is a simple exercise. Well, nice job. Ooh, doing great. Getting sweaty, feeling good, getting our heart rate going. We got a little bit less than 5 minutes to go. You can do this. Now, if you have another thing that you can graduate to, from the kitchen countertop to a stool, that works. Anything that brings you lower and lower and lower is progress, but also just holding more confidently. Seconds. Also, just holding more confidently is progress. Not shaking as much, not noticing the fatigue as much. That's progress. Very nice. On to the next side. You wouldn't believe this, like these simple movements can still be challenging at any fitness level. As much as I work out, I'm still sweating. I'm still putting in work. Still burning calories, which we need to do. Right? It's a simple thing. It goes a very long way. Here's another side. 15 seconds. Feel stronger on this side. 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Whew. It's normal to have strength differences from left to right. It's absolutely normal to have strength differences from left to right. I'm going to show you from the front what I mean by that capital A position. So we've done a couple sets already. Here we go. This is set number 4. 5. Weight in the base of your palms. Pushing through, like the base of the pinky, is a good place to think about pushing into the stools. 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo! Feeling good. Getting sweaty. Very sweaty. Okay. We're in. 30 seconds on the clock. It's on the screen, counting down for you. We're gonna get through 4 rounds here. This is awesome. But remember, 4 rounds is 4 rounds. If you get through, just remember that if you, if today you get through 2, next week you get through 3, that's still a massive amount of progress. All right? Rest. To the other side. Again, if you need a cushion, something to put under your elbow, or if you're getting tired and you need to go back to your hand, it's totally fine. Notice my thumb is up, kind of resting on the side of my forearm versus like all of my weight in my elbow. So you get a little bit of the meat in your forearm helping you. If you're having shoulder discomfort, let's go back up to our hand, okay? If that shoulder is bothering you, This is totally fine. You're still benefiting from this. Your obliques are still working, right? Again, say this probably 150,000 times. There's no benefit to pushing through pain. Pushing through discomfort, through hard work, totally fine. Pushing through actual pain doesn't work. It's not worth it. Whew, that was awesome. You crushed that workout.
Welcome to day 2, part 2. All right, all we're gonna need for this section of the workout is my favorite beanie dumbbells, right? We've got reasonably around the same weight. It's not, again, not the end of the world. There might be a slight difference from can to can. You can always switch hands between sets if you feel like you're missing out on something. The other option, of course, is trusty dumbbells. All right, we are gonna be doing 2 exercises back to back. We're gonna be doing bicep curls, and we're gonna be doing front raises. All right, as we do these, we wanna make sure we're staying under control. We're not swinging around. Imagine the cans are open. Obviously, like in this case, I don't want you to dump the cans out, but I want you to imagine that if they were open and you are swinging them around, they're gonna be spilling everywhere. All right? Okay, so 10 minutes on the clock. This is gonna be a tough one. 10 minutes of bicep curls and front raises straight. Your arms are gonna be toast. By the end of this, well, beans and toast. By the end of this, you're probably gonna wanna wash your hair, or in my case, shave my head before this is over, or by the time you're done, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to, right? Arms are gonna get real tired. Here we go, 10 minutes on the clock. Starting with our bicep curls, we're standing up nice and tall. We're starting with our palms facing out, and then as we curl up, obviously, I mean, a bunch of you have done bicep curls before, we don't wanna be swinging our elbows forward. As we do this, we wanna keep our elbows kind of pinned to our side, keep the sweat in your armpits, all right? 1, 2, we're gonna do 12 each arm, or each exercise. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12, because I forgot how many we're doing. Right, straight into our front raises. As you reach forward, we don't wanna be shrugging our shoulders up towards our ears. We wanna be reaching our hands forward like our kid is gonna jump to us off the playground, right? Reach forward. We wanna shorten the muscle that's right up here. That's what you should feel, not your neck. So from a postural perspective, we don't wanna be falling backwards or reaching back with our spine to try to get the hands higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. Those should already be burning. Those might be tough without anything in your hands. You might even start with a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup instead of Progresso and baked beans. You can progress to the Progresso. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because remember, our goal with weight loss is to be stimulating our muscles regularly and keeping you moving, right? It doesn't have to be like a crazy high intensity interval training workout. Like most people try to start there and it's just too much too fast. So with these, we're moving in a controlled, sustainable way where we can be continuously moving for 10 minutes instead of moving for 30 seconds, dead for a minute, right? Back to our front raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. If you're having any pinchy anything on the front of your shoulder, only go as high as you can before there's that pain. You can even move out a little bit wider, play with your angle, cans up, cans facing each other. I wouldn't recommend cans down, that's gonna feel kind of weird, but you can always vary some of these things just to allow you to move consistently without stressing any one thing, all right? Into our bicep curls. 2, 3. Imagine trying to put your pinky in your armpit. 4, 5. What I mean by that is not here and not out here, right here, right in front. Again, position-wise, you can vary this. 10, and you could go out here if you really wanted to. We just don't want to be doing stuff like this. Okay. 11 and 12. Right to our front raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Beautiful. Back to our biceps. 1, 2. I know this is kind of a monotonous one, but trust me, by the time you're done with this, you are going to be pumped up. Those sleeves are going to be snug. This would be a good time to bust out the sundress because those arms are going to be looking ridiculous. But like I said, wash your hair when you're done with this, because by the time those 2 days have set in, your arms are going to be real sore. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Beautiful. I'm going to show you how to do with the dumbbells now. Right? So these are a little bit heavier. You'll notice certain things about that range of motion change. We still don't want to be swinging back and forth as we do this though, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Your goal is to get to 12. If you have one set of dumbbells and no cans, and right now you're doing sets of 8, congratulations, you're gonna get more sets of 8 done by the time we're done with this workout. All right? So with a dumbbell, when it's a little bit heavier, you might wanna take a little bit of a split stance because you're gonna find yourself leaning back more. So I want to stay nice and tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 pounds goes a lot farther in this exercise than it does in the bicep curls. Front raises are much, much harder, and the weight progresses much more quickly with a dumbbell and a front raise. Nice job. All right, back to the baked beans. Right? Again, you can change your stance. You can even, if you really wanted to, go for a walk while you do this. Makes it a little bit more fun. Move a little bit more, right? Call this the gun walk, gunslinger. Do it to the beat. There's so many different ways to make this interesting. I'm trying to keep it as simple as physically possible just to keep you moving. But ultimately, the goal is that you're having some fun while doing this, right? Because if you're enjoying this, then it's going to be much easier to come back week after week. All right, onto those front raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, not shrugging as we do this, because you don't want to be feeling your neck. You want to be feeling the front of your shoulder and maybe even into back here just a little bit. 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, back to the dumbbells. We got 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go. We've gotten through a lot of these. 3, 4. You'll see my pace slow down with those heavier dumbbells. Again, and if you need to rest, put the dumbbells down, put the cans down, take your time. Even if you get through 4 rounds your first time doing this, it's still 4 more rounds of this stuff than you would have done without it. 10, 11, and 12. All of this stuff goes a really long way, and adding 1 set at a time, getting 1 rep at a time is still progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see my shoulders are starting to burn. 12. Nice job. Again, make sure you got your water, make sure you get your towel. Might be sweating by this point. I know the crystal ball is starting to shimmer. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Back into those front raises. I know the first time I was doing P90X years and years and years ago, it felt like I was going to crash and burn halfway through those workouts. They crushed me. And then after 6 weeks, they didn't crush me so badly. And then I dragged my wife into doing the workouts with me because I wanted to push myself, but it's hard to do on your own. So if you're feeling like you're struggling to keep pushing yourself, bring a partner in, bring a friend in, send them this link, and just have them enjoy this workout. It's always more fun when somebody else is doing it with you, right? Back to those bicep curls. So if you're starting to get exhausted in this position, we can go from a neutral and spin on our way up, and you're still gonna benefit. It's slightly different, just a way of changing the variable a little bit. We don't wanna be doing this guy yet, because that's planned for another day. And it also hits a different head of your muscles. This is where we start teaching you some of the bodybuilding ideologies or methodologies by learning to work certain things more specifically so that you don't tire them out and you can use other things the next day. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. We got a nice, ridiculous pump going. Probably feeling like your muscles are little, like you said, pumped up. They're full of beans, right? So as you do this, as you try to stretch them out a little bit, this is where you're gonna wanna go. Even something like this could feel nice for those shoulders. Just keep it moving as much as you can, because if you go hit the couch right now and you stay like this for the next 45 minutes, I guarantee you when you go to move, it's gonna be like, ugh.
All right, so we're gonna be doing a plank to down dog. So placing your hands on your blocks about shoulder width apart with your feet a little bit wider than hip width. Push the base of your palms into the blocks, almost like you're doing a straight arm shoulder press. Reach those hips back as high as you can. You can keep the knees totally locked, or you can keep them just a little bit bent just to keep pressure off of the sciatic nerve. So push back, rock your hips back. We're returning all the way to a plank in between each rep. We're going for 10 reps total, from plank to down dog and back. We're not shoving ourselves backwards, we're pressing the ground away. We're also not throwing our hips back, we're really trying to push as if we were gonna do a handstand. One right here. Great. From here, we're going to go into a reverse crunch. Now we really want to flatten our low back to the ground to make sure that we're not arching our back as we do this. We're tucking our knees up and we're trying to pull our knees towards our rib cage, not launch our knees towards the ceiling. So we really want to make sure that we're trying to round our lower back as much as we can, almost like we're trying to get our knees to our armpits or our chest. You can use a little bit of momentum, but not too much, because we really want to feel that squeeze on the front side. You can come all the way down and tap the toes on each rep. We don't want to be flinging ourselves up as we do this. Really under control. Now, if you're dealing with any pelvic floor issues or diastasis recti, make sure that you are driving that exhale, really blowing out a birthday candle with each rep, right? We don't want to see your belly kind of tenting up towards the ceiling as we're doing these, because that could actually agitate diastasis recti further. And actually you'll get the added benefit of some pelvic floor strength by blowing all that extra air out. Finish strong through this. Make sure that you're staying under control to the best of your ability. On this round, we're going to do our plank to down dog with no yoga blocks. Of course, if you are dealing with wrist issues, please make sure you are using those yoga blocks to take some pressure off of the wrists. So as you press back, remember, it's almost like you're trying to do a handstand. So you're shoving the ground away as if you're going to try to get your biceps to your ears. You want to make sure that you are pushing back, and it's as much of a shoulder exercise as it is a core exercise. We don't want it to be just rocking your weight back and kind of taking the weight off of your hands. We really almost want it to be almost entirely on your hands, even though you're shifting your weight backwards. Of course, play within your pain-free range of motion, because there's absolutely no point in pushing through pain. Stay under control. Make sure you are pressing through the base of those palms. All right, back on the ground for our reverse crunches. Take a deep breath, take your time. Remember, you're working at your own pace. So if you're arching your low back, we really want to try to reduce the range of motion as much as we can so you're not feeling a ton of hip flexors. We want to make sure that you are pulling the rib cage into the ground, blowing that air out, and really making sure that your low back is almost stapled to the mat. Getting into a great position here, we want to make sure that we've tucked the pelvis underneath to really engage those lower abs as much as we can, because we don't want to just be pulling our knees up towards our face, because ultimately that's just going to end up as a hip flexor exercise. We really want to make sure that our abs are doing the work. Work rounding that spine as much as we can. The more you can flex your spine, the better, of course, within your pain-free range of motion. You can shorten up that range of motion and not tap the ground on every rep, especially if you find yourself overarching your low back and if you're feeling any discomfort at all. Make that range of motion as small as it needs to be. All right, back up to our plank to down dog. Remember, our hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width. We're pushing the ground away, almost like we're trying to drive our chest through our arms without overarching our upper back. Keep those abs tight. Blow the air out as you reach your hips back, as you press the ground away. Every rep, squeezing those abs as you press the ground away, looking for a nice big stretch in the backside of our body. All right, back down to those reverse crunches. We're working hard, we're sweating. We're gonna bring the yoga blocks in and put them under our feet to elevate the ground a little bit, to shorten that range of motion so you still get that little bit of a tap and the feedback from your feet, but ultimately you don't have to go quite so far. So you're getting a nice crunch and a squeeze out of the front side of those abs, but you're not necessarily overarching or extending down to the ground. Remember, we don't want to put our hands under our low backs as we do this. We really want to control our abs as much as we can. This should feel really good. You should get a good squeeze on the front side of your body, and you might even get a nice stretch on the back side of your body. All right back up. All right, on this round, we're gonna do something a little bit more advanced. With each push back, we're gonna reach our hand back and try to tap our toe, reaching all the way across our body as you push the ground away, shifting your weight onto one hand and reaching back and touching that toe. The knee is an option as well if you feel like you can't quite reach that far. But of course, if you just wanna stick with the traditional plank to down dog, that's totally acceptable, especially if you are starting to fatigue. This is a nice way of adding a little bit of extra intensity. Your heart rate will definitely be up a little bit higher than it may have been on the previous version. All right, we are getting close to the end of our time. The hip under, touch the ground, and crunch up. 2, 3, 4. Nice big exhale all the way down to your pelvic floor, like you're trying to stop peeing midstream. It all starts with that pelvic tuck. Make sure that you are not overarching your low back and losing your core as we do these. That's where all the benefit of this comes in. On to our last round, okay? Push it. We're trying to make sure that we get everything in at the tail end here, really pushing through the intensity as much as we can. Drive that ground away, find that handstand. You can kind of peek up through your eyebrows at the base of your hands. You don't necessarily have to tuck your chin super far, but you also don't want to be reaching up through the top of your head, all right? Back down to our reverse crunches. We're gonna finish strong right here. Knees to armpits, knees to chest, not launching knees to the ceiling. Crunch up. Remember, range of motion, short is totally fine, especially if it means it's not hurting you. You can always go for a bigger stretch if you need it. All right, well done.